Algorand governance period 2 is wrapping up today as we speak, and governance period 3 is about to start. Now we're going to look at how period 2 went, how it compares to period 1, and what we can expect from period 3. And we're going to break down, is Algorand governance still worth it? We're going to answer all that on today's Frugal BC. What's up, guys? Frugal BC, welcome back to the show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Big exciting news. Algorand governance period 2 is wrapping up and period 3 is starting, which is really cool. By the way, guys, hit that like button and subscribe if you love Algorand just as much as I do. And we're gonna break down what it's all about. Let's see how period 2 compared to period 1 and what to expect from period 3. And then we're gonna dig into, stay tuned to the end because we're going to talk about whether it's still worth it anymore. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot. So we're gonna bat that around a little bit today. So let's pull up some data because that's what I like. All right, so you guys, you're looking at my Algo wallet, which just implemented this new feature where you can see all the stuff going on with Algorand governance right in the wallet. I think this is super cool. It might have been around for a while. I've been using the governance site to figure out everything, plus algorandstats.com, which is a great site too, to see a bunch of data. We're going to dig into that a little later today too. So you can see I put 625 in. That's a little bit more than last time. Last time I put 600 in. And I'm not really sure why. Now, yesterday it actually said the estimated reward here, and it was about 15 some algo. I think I might have made a note of it. Let me see, did I? Yeah, it was 15.6. Now, for some reason, it's blank right now. I'm not really sure why, but that's less than last time. The last time I got 21 algo. It's actually a little more than 21. And I put less in. I only put 600 in. So the rewards got down a little less. Now, this says 11.02% APY. Now, I'm going to show you something. So if you go to Algorand governance period 2, now this says 10.02%. And I haven't been able to figure out the difference, why they're a percentage off, or which one is actually accurate. But this one, if you look at the stats here, now I still like going to this one because this is algorandstats.com. They have it, they really break down a lot of the stuff, the amount of committed algos, the number of governors, the percentage for the period, plus the APR. Total APR went up almost actually more than a full percentage, just a little over a full percentage. And the period percentage reward went up about 0.27. So, about a quarter of a percentage over the time. Now, here's what's really interesting. We have lost almost 30,000 governors over that period. And that leaves us with 37,000. So we probably lost about 40%, just to do a little public math. I try to avoid that. But if you look at the amount of algos lost, we lost 343 million algos, which might sound like a lot, but there's 2.8 billion algos committed. So basically what you're seeing, a lot of the ones that dropped out were smaller wallets. They weren't the big whales. The whales stayed in. So I don't know if you guys know this. Now, I don't do this. However, a lot of people suggest it's a good practice to have a separate wallet just for governance. And I think that's a good strategy. I don't do it because I just don't feel like I need to. I've been pretty good for both of them. But yeah, you can kind of see where we lost algos, and take note of this. This is the 1st of March. And then we can go here. This is also the 1st of March. And you might say, whoa, what's with the big jump? That's because people didn't vote. If they didn't vote, this is when this is the most common. This happened last time too. We had a big drop at the end of the vote because if people didn't vote, they got kicked out by the end of the period. Now, as you recall, the vote was on whether there should be an ex-governor class of people who can submit projects to be, or can submit things to be voted on by the Algorand community. Really curious how that's going to work. I haven't found a lot of info on that yet. If you guys have some resources, send them my way. Honestly, I haven't looked like super deep into it. I know at the time when we all had to vote, there wasn't a lot of info about how that would actually work. And I had a lot of questions on it. I really should start sending this stuff to the foundation, to be honest. Yeah, so but anyway, yeah, period 3 is going to be started. You can see the countdown here. Okay, yeah, so you have, excuse me, I was misinterpreting that. Yeah, I thought it started today. Yeah, the registration ends on April 14th. So you have pretty much now until April 14th, which is now 13 days, 19 hours and 53 minutes coming up. So it's about to happen, guys. So now here's the thing. I want to ask about, yeah, I should talk about the vote from last time first. So the vote was like overwhelmingly in favor of creating this ex-governor class. Yeah, what we clearly had going on here was, you know, the whales definitely voted for this. And I don't blame them necessarily. I really don't. So so I mean, what we had here is that the whales voted for basically to have more control. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but I kind of wonder if it shouldn't be by governor, but then, you know, that's easy to game too, because then someone with a huge amount of algo would just divide it up amongst a bunch of wallets and votes. So I can see why that would be a problem too. But the issue I have is like, I don't know that people are actually gonna I don't think the average person really has a voice in this. And, you know, I understand both sides of it. I understand that people have more, if you have more algo, you have more stake in it. So you can have more say, and that makes sense too. But then you have to ask yourself, and this is going to get into our question, like if you are, well, someone like me, you have a decent size, you have like 600 algo, that's something, right? That's not nothing, but it's not like I'm not a whale by any means, or even close to it, or even a mini whale. Does it make sense for me to vote? That's one calculation. So we have to decide that. Maybe you just like participating, that's cool. So there's that. The fact that holding in your wallet, now see, it used to be that you're also getting, besides these governance awards, you were getting 6% on your algo just holding in the wallet, and that's gone. For a while, and some people did chase this, like there was a while where your wallet wasn't giving you that percentage, but Coinbase was, so some people were just putting it all in Coinbase, and that didn't last either. Now that's at like, you know, 0.2% or whatever it is. It's something, it still exists, but it's small. One little bone I had to pick with Algorand is I just didn't feel like they laid that out, how that was going to work. I know they said it would be ending around sometime in the first quarter, but they could have gave more specifics, I felt, or at least I didn't come across them. I felt like a lot of people just discovered it, you know what I mean? So there's that. But besides the governing part, you also have to think about the financial part. So let's break that down. So whether it's 10 or 11%, and it's going to be different every time, I would assume more people are going to get into it. So you're going to have less rewards over time, but you know, I could be wrong. We'll see. You know, it's hard to know for sure. That's just my assumption based on the way it's worked so far. And just the idea, usually more people are going to get into this than fewer. So I think that's probably likely. Well, let's just take the money. Let's just say it's 10 to 11%. Now that's a pretty good return. You know, we get spoiled in crypto because we think about returns of like, you know, in the triple digits sometimes for some of these DeFi projects. But like a year of like 11% returns in the stock market, like an index fund, that's pretty good. That's pretty standard. So, and that's to be able to do that and have it guaranteed, like that's a pretty big deal. Like that's good. That's not bad. So I think it'd probably be foolish to completely ignore governance. Always good to have a base of like, hey, I know this money is going to make a little bit extra. That's a good thing. You know, people criticized me for when I did the Lofty video. It's like, well, why would you do that? You're only getting like 6, 7, 8, 9%. I'm like, yeah, but I'm getting that no matter what the economy is doing. I'm getting that no matter what the crypto market is doing. That doesn't matter. People got to pay rent. And that's a solid source of gains that is pulled apart from these other things. So it's called the diversification. You got to do that. Diversification is a really good thing. That being said, and you know, like I said, 10%, 10, 11%, that's virtually guaranteed. I mean, you can get, obviously, if you screw up, you know, you can get kicked out of governance. But for the most part, this is a pretty solid way to make 10% on your money without doing a whole lot. And frankly, almost virtually risk-free. But the other side of the equation is we have to talk about opportunity costs. And that's important because, you know, I've had this 625 algo locked in my account. I'm not touching. What am I missing out on that I could be getting into otherwise? We got projects like Yieldy, other DeFi projects, Algo Stake. There's so many DeFi projects now. Tiny Man, doing pairs on Tiny Man, all those earn money. And it's possible I could put my money to better use. However, I also have to take the risk into account because I could also lose money. While the mechanisms gain money, the coin, the Yieldy coin, for example, has dropped. It was almost at 2 cents at one point. In fact, I think it might have been higher than 2 cents. And then all of a sudden it was like worth like 0.001 cent. So it went like way down. Now it's been at like almost 0.004. So it's kind of gone back up a little bit, but it's not back to that all-time high. So you have to think about that too. What it comes down to is how much risk do you want to tolerate? So if you want to tolerate more risk, you have more potential reward, but you also could get burned. Governance, you're probably not going to get burned, but your rewards aren't going to be that great, but they're going to be pretty good. Now, remember that 10% is spread out over the year. So the actual purity rewards are more like 2.5. Like I said, it was like 2.5% for this one. And that was a little less than the previous one. Like I said, I got like 22, 21 something algo last time. This time I'm getting 15, so not as much, even though I put more in. So now what am I going to do personally? I'm actually not sure yet. I'm talking this through with you because I'm also talking this through with myself. I'm not sure how much, I can almost guarantee you I'm not going to put the same amount in. I'm going to put less in and use the excess algo to put it into more projects in the Algorand ecosystem. Not Ayn Rand, definitely not investing in that, but maybe some other ones. Cosmic Champions is about to come out. I think I've got a good feeling about that. The team is doxed, which we know is really important now, don't we? Among other things. And I've said, like, I think there should be some kind of lockup mechanism for some of these projects so they can't just rug pull. But that's a conversation for another day. But I'm definitely not going to do as much. But I think I'm going to do something. So what that balance is, I'm not sure. But I can tell you that I'm going to do less governance than I did the last period, but am still going to participate. Now, where that balance is, not sure yet. We'll see. So I want to hear about how did governance go for you guys? Were you happy with it? Are you getting out of it? Are you doing kind of what I'm doing, where you're going to back off a little bit, or the opposite? Are you actually gonna go all in on governance next for period 3? Me, I'm not so sure. I don't know if the votes, they haven't felt like really consequential. Like I don't feel like I'm voting and actually getting thing out of it, or that I'm actually contributing. It kind of feels like regular voting, to be honest. Where the districts are so gerrymandered that like it almost doesn't matter if you vote. I'm going to get burned for that, I know, but I don't care. It's the truth. And then it feels kind of that way in governance too. It kind of feels like, with a 90% vote, like does it even matter if I voted? I mean, I think I voted. I don't even remember how I voted, to be honest. I think I voted for it. I don't remember. Yeah, but I want to hear what you guys say. Let me know in the comments, because I always like that feedback and I respond to everybody. Again, thanks to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. We are really getting close to 1,000. That's pretty cool. I want to hit that 1,000 mark. I'm going to release some merch when we hit 1,000. So let's get there. And thanks everyone who subscribed so far. Join the channel so we can talk about Algorand and other projects too. I do the experiments. That's what this project is. This channel is all about, doing the experiments, trying them out, letting you know what went well and what didn't go well. Because nothing frustrates me more as a guy who's watching videos when someone talks about how great something is, and then I go try it out and it's nothing like they said. That's frustrating to me. I don't want you guys to think that about me. I want you guys to think, yeah, that BC told me what it was. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching the channel. Happy algo to everyone. I never know how to end these things. Stay safe out there, guys. Be mindful, do your own research, and I'll see you in the future.